Bachelorette Jenn Tran sobbing over latest rejection. Bachelorette Jenn Tran has seen her fair share of heartache over the past several months. She had a broken engagement, was eliminated from Dancing with the Stars, and now found out more bad news. This new rejection has Jenn sobbing. What happened? Keep reading to get the scoop. Jenn Tran upset over rejection. Bachelorette Jenn Tran is really upset over her latest rejection. Fans know how much she has come to love dancing. 2 months ago, she never knew she really liked it. Now she loves it and hates that it's over. She was so excited when Sasha Farber told her they get to dance at the finale next week. Jenn even mentioned that she would love to go on the DDTS live tour. However, that dream came to an end this week. She went to Instagram to share a video of her getting ready and explain what happened. Jenn said, "I got a call about the tour, and I won't be going on tour, which is really sad because I really wanted to go. I felt like with tour, I was gonna be able to hold on to this feeling a little bit longer and hold on to this dancing moment that I've been having." She then admitted she was sobbing and felt silly doing so. However, she is disappointed and just wants a moment to let it sink in. She actually loved performing and will miss that aspect of it. Jenn fully plans on taking more dance classes in the future, but admits it's not the same. She concluded her video by saying, "You know the saying, don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened. And it really is true. I really did have the best 2 months of my life dancing." Is she dating Sasha Farber? Jenn Tran and pro dancer Sasha Farber have been spending a lot of time together. Fans are speculating that there is more than friendship between them. She's even been staying at his place while she's still in Los Angeles. However, both Jenn and Sasha continue to avoid the questions about their relationship and play coy. Their flirty photos and videos say there is just as much chemistry off-camera as there is on-camera. The night was supposed to be her moment, her final rose ceremony, the one where she would make the choice, decide on a partner for life, and leave the world watching in awe of her love story. But as the camera panned to Jenn Tran's face, her tear-streaked cheeks said everything. She was holding a rose, but the weight of it was too much to bear. Jenn had given it everything, her heart, her soul, her trust. Yet here she was, on the edge of a heartbreak she hadn't anticipated. The cameras captured her shaking hands as she stepped forward, poised to hand out the final rose. The man standing across from her, eyes full of anticipation, didn't know that he was about to crush her dreams. His name was Tyler, and though he had once seemed so sure about their future together, tonight he couldn't even meet her gaze. The tension was palpable. Jenn's voice quivered as she called his name, her breath catching in her throat. She had fallen for him in a way that had started with a smile across a crowded room, blossomed into laughter-filled dates, and grown into a shared vision of a future. She had believed him when he said he loved her. She had trusted him when he said he was in this for the long haul. But as Tyler took a step forward, his face clouded with uncertainty, Jenn's heart dropped. His silence was deafening. She could feel the weight of the moment pressing down on her, suffocating her. The bright lights of the set, the elaborate gowns, the soft music playing in the background, all of it became a blur. "Jenn," he began, his voice strained. "I think you're amazing. Truly, I do. But I don't think I'm the right person for you." The words stung. They were a slap to the face, a rejection that felt like 1,000 needles in her chest. Jenn had imagined this moment 1,000 times, but never like this. She had never pictured Tyler walking away from her, leaving her standing there, vulnerable, exposed, and broken. The finality of his words echoed in her mind. The man she thought she could trust had just let her go. Tears welled in her eyes, unbidden and unstoppable. She tried to hold them back, to maintain her composure, but it was impossible. She had let herself fall for him in a way she hadn't allowed herself to fall for anyone in years, and now she was left with nothing but a broken heart and a bouquet of roses that felt like nothing more than a symbol of her failure. Tyler walked away, his back turned to her, and that was the moment that broke Jenn completely. She let the rose fall from her hand, her fingers trembling as it hit the ground with a soft thud. She didn't care about the rose anymore. She didn't care about the cameras, the crew, or the millions of people watching at home. All that mattered was the pain coursing through her veins, the sense of betrayal, and the overwhelming emptiness that seemed to swallow her whole. "Why didn't he love me?" she whispered to herself, her voice barely audible through the sobs. Her chest heaved with every breath she took, as if the weight of her heartbreak was physically crushing her. The sound of a producer's voice calling out to her felt distant, almost like an afterthought. She was beyond the scripted moments now, beyond the carefully choreographed drama of reality TV. This was real. This was pain. This was rejection in its rawest form. Her mind raced as she replayed every moment she had spent with Tyler. Their first date, their stolen kisses, their conversations about the future. Had any of it been real? Had he ever really meant the things he said to her? Or had she just been another contestant to him, another woman to conquer, another notch in his belt? She had trusted him. She had believed in him. And now she was alone. Her sobs grew louder, her body shaking with the force of them. She couldn't stop herself. She couldn't breathe through the ache in her chest. All the memories she had built with Tyler crumbled like sandcastles washed away by the tide. She felt stupid, naive for believing in a love that didn't exist. The crew members moved around her, unsure of how to handle the raw emotion unfolding before them. Some hovered with tissues, others stood at a distance, respecting her space, giving her a moment of privacy in the public spectacle of her pain. But Jenn didn't care about their presence. She didn't care about the cameras. "I gave him everything," she whispered again, as if the words could somehow bring him back. But they didn't. A quiet voice broke through the haze of her tears. It was a producer, a familiar face from the show. "Jenn, we need to get you back to the dressing room." She nodded, wiping her face with the back of her hand, trying to regain some semblance of composure. She was the star of the show, the Bachelorette, the woman everyone was rooting for. But in that moment, she felt like nothing more than a shattered version of herself. "Give me a minute," she muttered, her voice hoarse. As she stood there, alone in the spotlight, the reality of her rejection hit her in waves. She had put her heart on the line for Tyler, had trusted him with her deepest emotions, and in return he had walked away. The man she thought she would spend her life with had chosen someone else, or perhaps no one at all. The tears didn't stop, even as she was escorted back to her dressing room, the doors closing behind her with a finality that mirrored her heart. She collapsed into a chair, her face buried in her hands, as the sobs came in desperate, ragged breaths. Jenn Tran had been rejected, and in that moment, nothing seemed to matter but the weight of that truth.